What about worst coaching decision? Did you
See, I've got one, but it involved an opposing coach with a local team against the local team as opposed to a coach with a local team.
What do you got?
Ron Rivera. That 2-point conversion against the Lions was an absolutely crazy call that cost the Panthers a win and, more importantly, may have cost the Panthers a playoff spot, because I think had they gone for two with the injuries that the Lions had suffered in that game, the Panthers would have won it in overtime.
Had they not gone for two?
Had they not gone for two. Had they just kicked an extra point and sent the game to overtime, they'd have probably won it because the Lions were down some players. But he went for two. Newton failed to complete the pass. The Lions ended up winning that game, and Carolina has yet to win a game. They're now 6-8 after starting 6-2.
Wow. All right, Tony, thank you very much.
You got it.
Tony Ortiz from the Update Desk. We've also got this thing about the worst rule in sports. It was a headline, the worst rule in this sport won't change until it affects a championship game. What do you think it is, or what do you think it should be? I mentioned the neighborhood play. I hated the neighborhood play in Major League Baseball, which is you don't actually have to be on the bag on a double play. You just have to be near it, and I'm glad that they've cleared that up and changed the way guys are expected to slide. In the best interest of safety, sure, but if it ever happened in a championship game, or in this particular case, a World Series, I thought people would, I think the sports world would absolutely lose it. 248-539-9797. Let's get to your calls on what that rule may or may not be, or what you think it should be. We go to Greg. You're on 97.1 A Ticket. Hi, Greg.
How's it going?
What's up?
I hate this rule, and I've been waiting for it to decide a crucial game in the NHL, flipping the puck over the glass in the defensive zone. Could you imagine losing a crucial game because you accidentally shot the puck over the glass in the defensive zone? I hate that. I hated that rule when it was implemented, and I'm just waiting for it to cause a major you-know-what in a big game.
Okay, well,
I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Let me make sure. You're talking about the delay of game that you get if you flip the puck over the glass in your own zone.
Yes.
Why do you hate that rule? I mean, I'm not sure I understand why that rule's bad. Am I missing something?
I just have never I can a penalty is a penalty, but just by accident shooting the puck over the glass is a delay in the game penalty. I hated that rule when it was implemented. I've never understood that rule as why is that a penalty. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I've never understood that rule. I can't imagine a game being lost on that rule.
So what is
it? Just seems silly to me.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what is the impetus behind making that rule. Is it you're under pressure, you're in your own zone, you can't get a change, you can't get the puck out, so you flip it over the glass so you can change, and they're saying, no, you shouldn't be allowed to basically just throw it out of bounds, that's what it's the equivalent of. It's the equivalent of throwing it out of bounds.
I've never got that rule.
Fair enough.
I don't know. Like I said, it's just me. Maybe.
No, I understand it, Greg, because there's one rule that I don't get that I don't think's ever. I don't think. First of all, I don't think that's going to change, and that obviously wasn't.
No, I don't think so either.
That wasn't the rule, but I'll give you one that falls in that category for me. It's in the NBA when a basket is made or you get a rebound late in a game and you can call timeout, and the ball immediately gets moved into the front court.
Yeah, true.
I don't get that at all. I get it makes the game more exciting because now the team that is, calls the timeout has the ball in the offensive end and, look, better chance that they're going to score. But by using the timeout, should you get 50% of the real estate back? I mean, that's what you're doing. It's like late in a football game if a team makes a fair catch on a kickoff, the ball gets moved to the other team's 45. What? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. And yet, I don't think that's ever going to change. 248-539-9797 from Scott. It should be the NFL's pass interference spot of the foul rule, a 68-yard penalty for an armbar. 68-yard penalty for an armbar. Yeah, I could see that coming into play, coming under heavy scrutiny in a championship game where some team just throws a Hail Mary and there's a flag for pass interference. And why is that a 60-yard penalty? Let's go to Steve in Royal Oak. Hi, Steve.
Hey, good morning, Doug.
What's up?
Whether or not this would change like a championship game or something like that, that's debatable. It's a stretch, I admit that. But in hockey, when there's a tripping penalty and then there's also, along with it, an embellishment, either the guy gets tripped or he's embellishing, one of the two. The fact that they do, two at the same time, I think to me is ridiculous. So it's either call the trip or call the embellishment, not both.
So, yeah, you're right. Why? If it's a trip, did he embellish? And if he embellished, did he trip him?
Exactly.
And it is always both.
In half the time, Doug, it seems like, if a guy gets maybe a stick up around the elbow or up around the collar, and all of a sudden the guy's legs come out from under him, that's one extreme, and I get that. But half the time, all you got to do these days is seem like touch the guy with his front shin guard, and he goes down, and they both get called. Yep,
Steve, I think that's an interesting one.
All right, have a good one, Doug.
Because it doesn't make any sense. It's either one or the other, right? Well, that's not what it was in this headline in this story, but that's a great one. Worst rule in this sport won't change until it affects a championship game. What do you think it is or should be? 248-539-9797. Ticket text coming in. We had all the local products we were talking about and what their cost would be in the draft with the announcement today that Devin Bush is declaring for the NFL and will not play in Michigan's bowl game. Lee in Imlay City, I think Bush is extremely overrated. It came down to Winovich or Felton Davis for me. I'm going to go with Winovich because I think he would fill the greatest need for the Lions. So we got Winovich as a second day. It's been a second-day pick on Chase Winovich. One, I would take Rashawn Gary for the fact that the Lions need defensive linemen. And two, I'd take Felton Davis, would be a steal in the third or fourth round. I would take Winovich day two. He reminds me of Kyle Vandenbosch, high-energy guy that would spark some fire on defense. Great leader. It's from Joe in Canton. Chase Winovich, second round, no doubt. Devin Bush for sure would be a top-notch pick to get for the Lions, but he deserves to play underneath Tom Brady. 248-539-9797, plus your ticket text at 97136. Let's go to Tony next up on a cell. Hi, Tony.
Hi. I don't like the basketball rule where you got a foul to give. So because you haven't fouled enough and you're late in the game, but let's say you're losing and you foul a guy because you want to get him to the line, but because you haven't fouled enough, they get the ball out of bounds. They should give the team who fouls the option of putting him on the line or having him take the ball out of bounds. Because you want to get him to the line, but you haven't fouled enough, so they get the ball out of bounds.
So by playing, you're saying you're getting punished basically for playing good defense.
Correct. So give that team who fouled, who's losing, usually the team that's playing good defense hopefully is winning. But if the team that's playing good defense isn't and didn't foul enough, to let them have the option to put the guy at the line.
Well, that's not what the story is. The story is referring to that rule, and I kind of wonder how many people would agree with you on that one. It doesn't really bother me, to be honest, but hey, that's your pet peeve, and you got it out there. 248-539-9797, ticket text 97136. Greg is in Allen Park and next. Hi, Greg.
Hey, Doug, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
Hey, one rule that bothers me is when in the NFL, the quarterback will take the snap, take a step back, and throw the ball into the ground to stop the clock. Well, by rule, that's intentionally grounding because he's not outside the tackle box, and the ball never goes across the line of scrimmage, but they give him a timeout to stop, or not a timeout, but to stop the clock.
Yeah, I remember when they changed that. Because do you remember watching football when the quarterback would have to literally sail it over a wide receiver's head and out of bounds to stop the clock?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they kind of got rid of that necessity to do that so that they could make the game more exciting. That's
I think
similar.
that was part to protect the quarterback too. But if they want to, let the quarterback do that, they should actually initiate a 5-yard penalty for delay of game.
Yeah, it's very similar, I guess, to the NBA rule where you advance the ball to the mid court. It's a subtlety, but it's just put in place to make the game more exciting. And does it make any sense? Obviously, you don't think so. Once again, that's not considered the worst rule in this sport. They cite an example of how a rule changed because it happened in a high stakes game. We'll tell you what that example is at 11:20, but it's not this particular rule. Worst rule in this sport won't change until it affects a championship game. What is it or what should it be?